Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Munro Live. The number one thing that everybody wants us to talk about is the big show at the Gigafactory over there in Berlin. So Brandenburg. So anyways, I'm here with Cory, and we're going to go through some of the pictures that we've gotten from, some of them are just from the internet, some of them are direct from Galileo or David Lee, and you know, we don't get invited to these things because we don't have journalistic status. That's one of the reasons why we don't attend these things. If we can't afford to buy it or we can't afford to get ourselves there, I don't want to be involved because it makes me feel like I'm obligated to them. So anyway, we've seen a little bit of stuff. And we've made a bunch of predictions, and I want to just say that most of the predictions, I'd say, were dead accurate. Actually, some of the Twitter things that we've gotten, and definitely some of the emails I've received, say that we pretty much nailed it as far as the battery pack is concerned, and lots of people are excited. So with that, let's dive into it.
All right.
So here we are. We're looking at the top left is a transfer system that they're using. We call that a skillet in automotive terms, and in the lower thing there is looks like one of the die casting molds.
It's the Gigapress.
The Gigapress. So, well, that's not the whole Gigapress. It's just a mold, I think.
So if you look real closely, you can actually see some of the paths for the flow of the material. Yeah. And there's minute changes compared to we called it a mega casting, but the giga casting that we received. And this just shows that Tesla's continually improving and refining.
Yeah.
Some of the first mega castings that came out were 2 pieces or 3 pieces.
Yeah. And
now they're 1.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the other thing that I got some information on, saying that in essence, Elon says, well, yeah, we probably could do that in 1 piece, but it doesn't make any sense. So they're going to continue to stay with the 3 pieces. So the front, and in the center, and in the rear castings will come out as 1 piece. But still, that saves you a tremendous amount of time and effort, labor, cost, floor space, everything. Everything is better by using these big die castings.
And Sandy, what did we read right before we came in here? It was a statement by VW, essentially bewildered that Tesla is able to manufacture their car in 10 hours, where they're predicting 30 hours.
30 hours. And it's not hard to see how that can happen after we looked at the ID4. I mean, I get tons of emails. And one of the emails that I'm getting consistently now is that the ID4 owners are unhappy. Not with the car itself. It performs. I mean, it gets you from point A to point B. The problem that they've got is that there's no updates, no software updates. The one, I've forgotten his name, but one of the German guys that sends me emails, he said that he's going to scrap his ID4, and he's certain that he's going to live in shame in his neighborhood because he's German and he's buying a Tesla. But he said he wants to see things that are going to be changing. And when he sends in little notes to VW, he gets nothing back. And if you want to live in this world, in the new EV world, you're going to have to listen to what the customers have to say, and you're going to have to keep up not only on the hard technology, but also the software technology. So,
and a quick credit, it looks like these came from Inside EVs.
Yeah.
They typically publish an article on every one of our videos, so it's actually nice to kind of return the favor and look at some of their content.
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you see here, Sandy?
Well, you got the kind of like, those are stakes, and that's kind of like how you try and plan where you're going to have your stations and whatnot prior to the stations actually coming in. So that's the top left. The bottom right looks like artist concept. No, it's not. It's hanging by wires.
Yeah.
So they're showing what the top stack is now, or the top hat. So normally you wouldn't see that all by itself, but because Tesla's got 3 castings holding up the whole lower part of the car, this is just what you're going to see coming over and dropped on.
Is it 3? One in the front, one in the rear, and the battery will still be stampings, essentially trapping the 4680 cells. They're not a casting in the center.
I thought it was a casting in the center. Well, we'll see, because
we'll
we're going to be looking at it.
Yeah, we'll look at it. Yeah.
You may be right. I think I remember seeing extrusions, but there's no reason why they can't go with a casting. And I did think that they went that way. The one thing that's good about the new way of putting the car together is that center section, the battery section, it direct mounts the seats. I think there's a slide in here somewhere.
Now, do you remember when we visited Elon, actually off camera, you asked him why he didn't go with a casting in the center, and he mentioned the fact that once you essentially gluing all those batteries to the sheets on the top and bottom, it creates essentially a solid brick, and a casting isn't necessary. Do you remember he mentioned that?
I do, but I didn't know he was. I mean, you can always thin it out.
Yeah.
So, and at the time, we didn't know about the 4680 battery either. So maybe he was holding his cards a little closer to his chest.
All right.
Next. So what do we got here? That looks like a paint booth over there on the far side, but I can't really tell. And up in front, that's inspection, I think.
Yeah, those are racks with hoods over there.
Yeah.
But what do you say about the building, the size, the shape?
Oh my gosh, this thing is built for 500,000 products per year, easy. And I've heard different things about what their maximum line speed is going to be, but I believe the one that says 45 seconds. Every 45 seconds, you're going to see a car come off the line, and they're talking about 3 shifts. So this is 500,000 cars easy per year, and Elon wants to get to I think it's 1/10 of the car population. So that's like
20 million?
20 million, yeah, 20 million. 20 million Teslas. He wants to do that by 20 something or other. I can't remember, but he wants to get it done in a hurry. Okay, so we've got a robot and a crowd of people. I don't see much of anything else there. What's next? This was the state fair or the county fair or some kind of fair. Kind of a cool idea. You open a plant and bring in a Ferris wheel and some corn dogs, and everybody's happy. And here we go. This is maybe my favorite slide, and this is for David Lee. And he puts down the points that he thinks are the biggest points that are coming out based on his assumption and whatnot. So why don't you run through them?
So he says Giga-Berlin will start in November, December 21 with deliveries in December, but reaching volume production by end of next year at 5,000 cars a week, and then eventually 10,000. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And the initial cell production will be in China. So in the U.S., they have the Gigafactory in Nevada. We drove right by it.
Yeah, we did.
On our huge road trip, trying to beat that storm. Didn't stop, but and here the overarching goal to replace 1% per year of global fleet of 2 billion vehicles. So essentially 20 million a year, which we stated earlier. And David Lee also says interesting car models coming out in the future. So more than just your Model 3, Model Y, Model S, Model X, and Cybertruck, because they're missing that the low-cost option. And if they launch a low-cost option without the ability for autonomous, it could be really cheap. But I think all their vehicles will have hardware 3.
Yeah, so do I. And by the way, you did hear what happened this morning. niche. They're going after Tesla again. You know, nothing like an impediment to progress. And I'm sure that all of the marketing guys that are out there in New York are thrilled, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to see a bunch of short sellers that are going to, you know, give it a go again to see if they can make some money on Tesla. I'm hoping that they all rot, but I'm also certain that eventually these people will be forgotten, but Elon Musk will be remembered forever.
So number 8, we already knew about the front casting, structural battery pack, 4680 cells, but the best paint shop in the world. So I know that when we first received our Model 3 and even our Model Y,
both Model 3s and the Model Y,
fit and finish, that door gap on the right front of your Model 3 is still super close.
Yeah.
And we never had it adjusted. We never adjusted it. So what do you think the quality of these cars coming out in Germany is going to be?
I think they're going to be stunning. I believe they're going to be Bentley-ish or Rolls-Royce-ish. They're going to be top-notch. I mean, he wants to build this $24,000 car, but you know what? It's not going to be a $24,000 pile of junk. It's not going to be a Toyota Corolla. I believe if you're going to be pumping him out of that plant, and he's got the best plant in the world for paint, if that's the case, you watch people flocking to get that $24,000 car, because if it comes out the way I think it is, it's going to be a luxury car. It's going to be the same scenario as when the Japanese first started to come into the United States. The paint job was great, the fit and finish was unheard of, and it was reliable. You could not beat these things, and that's what's happening now. Only difference is it's going to be the Chinese and Tesla that mop the floors with the other guys.
Yeah,
that's another thing too. We are going to, Cory and I have been talking. We're going to do something about what our projections are here at Munro & Associates. So it'll be the two of us, but we'll also be dragging in. We have a lot of experts here in Munro, and we're going to talk about what we think is going to happen in the next 5 years, because it's going to be earth-shattering. These guys that are hoping that people are going to come back to the good old days or the old-fashioned ways are in for a giant surprise. So, and there we are.
Now I want to talk first on this, Sandy.
Yeah.
So everyone's drawn into the layout of the 4680 cells, but one thing I want to focus on is the body structure that they're showing. This is an old version of a Model Y. Yep. So that front bar in front of the bay, the electronics that's bay. An extrusion, and then the castings are 2 pieces. This is exactly like the Model Y we received, which was a very, very early one. So this casting is not representative of what will be coming out of this plant. Now, if you look at the battery, they're clearly showing the floor pan of the body is part of the battery now. So they're taking all of that. It was essentially redundant material. You had a cover on the battery, and then you had a floor of the body. Now they're integrating that structure into the top of the pack.
And if you remember, when we were doing the videos on the Model Y, we were tearing it apart, we made comment, or I made comment, we made comment here between us, why is there 2 layers of steel? What's the reason? If you're going to have sheet metal, why just have one? And that was part of the comments that we made.
And we've been advising many of our clients, why have a cover on your battery pack when you're already sealing it to the bottom? This is essentially a battery pack without a cover, because the cover is now the body. So,
well, actually, the cover is still a cover. It's the body that's vanished. Yeah. It's the body part that's vanished, and that's kind of like what we'd like to see. There's no real reason for that area except for oil canning. If you want to make noise, you know, put that floor in. But with this, there's no way that's going to go in dimple. No way. Yeah. Look at those ribs. And besides that, it's going to be plenty thick, because the one thing that Tesla's been doing is looking real hard at thermal runaway, and so they're probably going to go with steel. or they're gonna have to go to
steel.
steel. There's no other way to make it work, because like I said, I don't know where it is, but somewhere in here, there's a picture of the seats mounted directly to the battery pack. So the battery pack goes in, the seats go in at the same time. What a great idea! No more trying to get it through the doorway. That's good. That's really clever. And there it is.
There it is.
Oh, it's like Kim, made it all happen. She must have known.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if their manufacturing process has the center console and seats mounted as they load them up through the floor. You'd want to put your carpet on before this. So I don't know if this. I don't know if
really. I'm telling you what. I'd rather drag carpet through the doorway, because I'm going to split it. I got to split it somewhere.
How about
split
this?
The front and the back.
I'll bet you 2 lunches that the seats.
2 of your lunches? No way. Cory's on a diet. He's eating egg whites and arugula, whatever the hell that is. No, there's no way. No.
Spinach wraps.
No, you can keep your bet. I want money or I want steaks. Hey, I tell you what, I know. If I'm right, we'll have you can have arugula, but I'll have something that's really worthwhile. And then if you're right, I will choke down an arugula sandwich.
All right. I think the battery pack's going to be mounted. They're going to put the carpet in. They're going to put the wiring in. There's a lot of other stuff. Then they're going to mount the seats in the center console in the traditional way. That's my opinion. But if they pull that off, more power to them. I think this is just a representation to show that the seat and center console do indeed secure to the top of the battery.
Well, I'd like to see him put basically what I'm looking at there, and then throw the harness in a good old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
If you want to have a look at where these things came from, we're big on giving credit to where credit's due. So this one, as you can see, is David Lee. He took these pictures, and if you click on the link there, or actually you can't click on the link, but if you go to the link and have a look, you'll see everything that we've got here. So.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's a nice comparison of batteries.
I love it because they got AA, AAA, 18650, 2170, 4680.
Yeah, yeah. And then they've got the tabless design up there, and I can't tell what the heck I'm looking at.
Somebody's holding the can of a 4680 can. Or the whole thing.
It looks like it's got corrugations in the center. I don't know what that
I think that's a reflection of the lights.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
well, anyways, at the end of the day,
yeah.
It's a nice migration, if you like, from something that you'd put in that clicker all the way to where I think the future is. That looks like a storage rack.
4680 formation tower with real cans inside.
Wow. So that's the first step in loading up a battery pack.
Excuse me. Let's see. Ooh.
And here you go.
Nice.
So you can see now the front casting, the rear casting, and the sheet metal that's holding it in between.
And the missing floor.
And the missing floor.
Man. Imagine showing somebody this 20 years ago. They wouldn't have believed it.
We showed up.
I know.
Oh my God! I'm gonna cross you off my Christmas card list. We showed people this. We showed them the front casting, the center casting. So instead of having the rockers, they'd have a center casting and the rear casting. And guess what they did? Nothing. They walked right by it. Oh, Sandy, you just don't understand.
But do you know what all the naysayers? I've read almost every one of our 190,000 comments. So many people say, but what if you get in an accident? How do you repair it? The whole point of a Tesla is that the ADAS, the
crash avoidance,
the FSD, the car won't crash.
Yeah.
They're designing the car for the future where your car doesn't crash. Not for a 1987 Chevy that piles into everything because it doesn't even have analog brakes at the time.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. If you crash into that casting and you've gone into the point where it can't be welded over, well, you can put
totaled
things in
the car.
welding. You should just thank God that you actually survived the crash. That's it. I'm telling you flat, that is the right way to go. Put a couple of crush cans in the front, so if you get into some 15, 20 mile an hour smash, or even a 30 mile an hour smash, the crush cans they're throwaways, and then you can put it all back together again. But if you are going 80 miles an hour and you go into a brick wall, I want as much between me and that brick wall as possible, and that's going to slow me down. That's going to crunch, and it'll die, but I don't give it. I'm going to live.
You're not going to be worried about Larry, the body shop guy, being able to service it.
No, I'm not. Okay. I don't care at all. Somebody's going to haul it away, and I'll get another. Yeah. And that's the same as that guy in Mexico that smashed his Model S. He crushed it. I mean, he was going in the wrong direction. He plowed into the median. He plowed into trees and every other damn thing. And what did he do? He went and bought another one because the car saved his life. Now you want to have as much iron between you and whatever you're plowing into as possible, or in this case, aluminum.
Aluminum.
Special aluminum at that. And what we have here is a bonnet, but I don't know what it's all about. What does it say?
Musk has already previously said the paint shop will introduce brand new colors. One eagle-eyed fan with the ability to spot one of those new colors, deep crimson, the same color seen previously on Musk's personal vehicle.
Well, there you go. I heard that he had it repainted because he couldn't stand the paint shop. So there you go. Another old wives' tale by the wayside. Well, that's good.
And the Easter egg color spotted, confirmed.
Yeah, there you are. It's in the back.
They said it's the purple like Elon's ass. Crimson red.
Crimson red's not purple, but that looks red to me. Purple is purple.
Yeah, what did it say? It said deep crimson. Crimson's red to me. Maroon, not purple.
No, but that thing says purple.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's
I never get those transition colors. People who say Tiffany blue, that's green to me. I mean, come on, people.
You've been talking. And there we go. So we've gotten to the end of our presentation here. This is what Kim, my wonderful secretary, has put together. And all these different videos are worthwhile. So I've seen most of them. I haven't seen all of them, but I have seen some of them.
I think we're going to watch them.
These are long.
And react.
Oh, that one's not long. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there you go, full screen.
All right.
So this is the one that Tesla put out, the 60-second one.
What's your general take on, first of all, how well established is the plant? Does it look like it's 4 months off from production, or?
Yeah, actually less than 4 months off from production. So I've helped install probably so 12 engine lines, 6 or 7 transmission lines. About 15 car lines, and then a whole bunch of other things like 2 ships, 2 ship lines, ship manufacturing lines, and I can tell you that I've got a pretty good eye for what's going on. That looks pretty good. I think that these guys will have no trouble whatsoever getting up to production. I don't know where you are, but I would just skip out of that. And these other ones are going to be really long, so might not be. This is goofy. I don't care about. Actually, you know what we should do is, if you want to see something really, really exotic, go to Boston Scientific and have a look at their robots dancing. Can't remember. Is it
a robot dog?
No, I don't care about the robot dog. The one I sent out. What's the name of that song that they're dancing to? Now, do you love me now that I can dance? Yeah, very. I'd have to give up my Detroit citizenship if I didn't remember that. But it's absolutely stunning. So have a look at that. This is not that interesting to me because, quite frankly, that robot was trained probably by hand. You just grab it and you trace over something and then it remembers it and redoes it. I don't care about that kind of stuff. But if you want to see robots that can dance, yeah, you just go to Boston Scientific, type in "Do you love me now that I can dance?" and you'll have a good time. Have a real good time.
All right.
So
Sandy, do you want to wrap up, your final thoughts on the plant in Germany, VW's reaction? Is it too little, too late? I think it is.
Well, yeah, we pretty much everybody here that gets a chance to look at product a lot. We all pretty much know that these companies won't die, at least not right away, but they're going to come real close to death, and they're definitely going to be losing market share. Now, I don't want to give it away, but I'm putting together a package to talk about stuff that's a little different. I normally don't go into the financial end of doing business. However, when I left Ford, I was at finance staff, and I know enough to be dangerous about what a financial sheet is supposed to look like. And I can tell you what, I'm going to show you some stuff that's really going to make you wonder how these guys are even going to survive next week, let alone the next 10 years. And with the VW statement that Cory's alluding to, I mean, when you're taking 30 hours to put a car together and your buddy down the road is taking 10 hours, and there's not much difference between Brandenburg and Wolfsburg. They're not that far away. Something's going to happen bad. So VW is at 30 hours a car. That's a lot. That's a lot. I actually, when I saw it, I figured there might be a mistake, and there may still be a mistake. And Tesla in there at 10 hours?
Yeah, we'll pop that tweet up. So we're not taking credit for that, but it was a reputable Twitter person. I think it was Sawyer Merritt.
Yeah, it was.
Who we follow, but
yeah. So I think VW is in deep trouble, but I also think that pretty much everybody is in trouble now. They believe the wrong people. Actually, I gave a speech to the Institute for basically advanced materials, composites.
Yeah.
And in that speech, I mentioned something that someone gave to me from Bosch. And this guy was in charge of electrification in, I think it was 2007 or 2004. And he sent warning signals to the chief of staff, and they said, forget it. We're not going to do anything. We're going to follow VW, and we're going to try and market our way into telling the people that, hey, you know what? Diesels are just as clean as a spring, as a mountain breeze, whatever. And that's what they did. And when Tesla came out, and then of course the Dieselgate came out, they had to kind of like backpedal a little. They were onto this for how many years? I mean, 16 years, 18 years, and they did nothing. Nothing. Well, you do nothing in this industry, and it's like you're being in a parade. You sit down for a while, and the elephants are right in back of you. They'll crush you like a bug. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happened. Too many people thinking that the future is only going to be a reflection of the past. So I really don't know what do you want to add to that?
So the biggest thing I see is many of these OEMs that are trying to play catch up, they're only focused on the macro level decisions. Their cells, their motors, but it's all the micro level decisions, like packaging and integration, that really puts Tesla ahead. So we just had the Kia Niro on the hoist, the Kia Niro and the Hyundai Kona. I might have got those backwards, but the location of the high voltage AC compressor was in the worst possible spot, and it had 6 feet of aluminum hosing, aluminum tubes running to the TXV at the dash and the thermal expansion valve. And I mentioned in that episode, the consumer doesn't care where the high voltage AC compressor is. What they do care is when their range is poor.
Right.
And it's 1,000 decisions like that that pull that efficiency out of the thermal system, that pull the efficiency out of the ethylene glycol, and it's added weight, it's added cost. So when they're buying a Hyundai Kona or a Kia Niro, and it says 250 miles of range, why isn't it 320 with the same size battery? It's those 1,000 micro decisions that we are paid to find. We find them, they're obvious to us. Consumers should care. They should care how inefficiently designed the vehicle is.
Yeah, and we've said this before, some of the biggest batteries out there, the car has the least amount of range. What is with that? I mean, when you look at the Audi with the biggest battery out there, and it's got like 88 miles to the electric gallon. And you go and look at Tesla at 125, and you go, well, wait a minute, it's only got 78 kilowatt hours, and it beats the Audi. How does that happen? It happens because, like, okay, so there's a 6-foot pipe over here on the, I can't remember what was the Kia.
Yeah.
Okay, 6-foot pipe on the Kia, and what's Tesla got? 6 inches. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the kind of stuff that that really and truly makes the big difference. So we've shown this about a dozen times. Here's a circuit board out of a Ford front seat, and here's the Tesla for the whole, basically, driver's side of the car. And here's this little postage stamp that says this is how much of it is actually operating the seat. And that seat in the Tesla does the same stuff. Why isn't it Tesla doesn't have so many troubles with the chip shortage? The reason is simple. They use modern stuff. They want stuff that's going to move quicker. Things that you'd find in a rocket ship or a jet aircraft. These are the things that get your efficiency up. And efficiency is going to be one of the 4 things that you need in order to make a car go farther. And so efficiency is 1, weight's 1, drag is 1, and friction is the other. And every time we look at things, oh, hey, we can get this bearing set cheaper. Okay, but the coefficient of friction is not the same as what Tesla's doing. So they're spending money on things that are going to make it so your car goes farther, and the other guys are saying, hey, look, we made it even cheaper. Look, we bought it. Again, at Munro, don't save me any money. I can't afford it. And that's kind of like the way it works. So anyway,
I think that's it.
We've beaten that one to death. So anyway, I'd just like to thank you all again for watching Munro Live. Cory's here, so you better subscribe or he'll yell at me. And we'll be talking to you shortly. So stay safe out there. Be healthy. So long. Bye.